Hi, I'm Dr. Langley. I'm with Pine Ridge Family Medicine, and today we're talking about what to do after you've gotten stitches. So if you're interested in seeing my other video about how to decide if you need stitches or if you need to go to the doctor for a cut or a wound like that, I have another video on that. Look somewhere around here for a link to that. But okay, so you've gotten stitches. They're healing well, great, but you're worried that there might be an infection. What are some signs of an infected wound? So the top ones I look for are heat. So the skin around the wound will feel hot to the touch, especially compared with the other side of the body or skin a little bit of a distance away. A line of redness, especially if it's a really clear line that you could even draw with a marker around. Here's red, here's not red. That can be a big sign of infection. If there's pus oozing out of the wound, and pus means that it's yellow or white and cloudy. If it's clear, if it's just bloody or bloody and clear, those are all okay. Those are normal signs of healing in a healthy way, but infection would be more cloudy, yellowish, whitish, not so good. Or having an increased amount of pain. The pain should continue to improve over the course of your wound healing. If it suddenly starts getting worse and worse, especially in combination with those other symptoms, or even with a fever above 100.5, those are definitely signs of infection that you should go back to the doctor for. Okay, so we've made it past signs of infection, great, and we're taking care of it from day to day. Every doctor seems to give slightly different advice on how to take care of your wound, especially to minimize scarring. The best evidence that I've seen is that some kind of ointment makes a big difference in scarring. So whether that's bacitracin or Neosporin or an antibiotic ointment, or you can actually just use petroleum jelly, like that kind of an ointment, just that thick gooey stuff that you have to dip out of the container and put a little bit of that to keep the scab soft. Applying that twice a day to a wound seems to make the biggest difference when it comes to decreasing a big bulky red scar in the long term. Otherwise, I like to recommend leaving a wound open at night to let it breathe, covering it during the day to keep especially the stitches from snagging on things and hurting even more. But obviously different locations that works better or worse. So talk to your doctor about what they recommend when they're stitching you up, and then you can get the best possible advice. When it comes to what you can do with your stitches in, for most superficial stitches that I do, I recommend staying out of still water, so baths or hot tubs, lakes, ponds, that kind of thing, pools, for the first 24 hours until there's a good scab. You've got a good protective layer built up that your body's put protecting yourself again. And then after that, go wherever you want to go. Maybe if the water looks particularly gross and nasty, don't submerge your wound, but otherwise going in a pool, a hot tub, a bathtub is just fine. But for deeper wounds or more serious wounds, definitely ask your doctor if that's okay. So now, how long should you wait before you have those stitches removed? Because there is a danger in leaving those stitches in for too long can actually make the scarring worse. You want the stitches to hold the wound in place, make sure that it stays together and heals in a nice straight line instead of a big gaping wound that it might have been without stitches. But after a certain point, the scar tissue will start heaping up on top of those stitches and making it look worse. So the general guideline I've written up here, if you have stitches around your eyelids, about 3 days. That thin skin heals really fast and can start scarring even worse pretty fast too, so you don't want to leave those stitches in for too long. Neck, 3 to 4 days. Face, 5 days. Your scalp is a pretty tough place. We generally don't worry too much about scarring there either, but 7 to 14 days is a pretty big leeway depending on how it's healing. Upper body, torso, abdomen, arms, hands, generally about 7 days, and lower body, lower legs, feet, toes, 8 to 10 days before you want to have the stitches removed. So you can definitely go back to wherever you were told to get your stitches removed, but there's times when you just can't make it back to the doctor to have your stitches removed. How difficult is it to remove yourself? Generally not a big deal at all. If you're sure that it's healed well, that the sides seem to be coming together, that if you pull those stitches out, the wound's not going to open right back up, it would be a reasonable time to take out the stitches. If you take the stitches out too early though, and you need to have stitches put back in, you can't do it. You can't put stitches back on a wound that's generally over 24 hours old. So keep that in mind. If there's any doubt, maybe just go back to the urgent care, ER, doctor that put the stitches in to make sure that they're ready to come out. But if you're sure they're ready to come out and you want to try doing it at home, just so you know, the way stitches work is you've got a piece of skin, a cut, and another piece of skin. And then the stitch is a piece of string that goes in one side of your skin and out the other side of your skin, and then has a knot right here, generally with little short pieces of string sticking up. So the way you remove a stitch is by cutting somewhere along that ring. So use a small pair of sharp scissors that are just small enough that can get in there without opening up more of the scab than is really necessary. But if you put one cut through that string, then you can grab with some tweezers on either side of that string. Well, on the side with a knot is a nice idea. And then pull it out that way, and that's how you remove stitches. It's really not a complicated thing. It's easy to do at home, and it's better than having the stitches in for long term if you're not able to get back to the doctor that put them in. So hopefully that's helpful. Feel free to watch these other videos that I have posted, and please subscribe to my channel right there. And thank you for watching.